Alert right now, a Furman professor is now suing the university. Now, Furman placed him on leave when it came out that he attended the deadly Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. Now, in September, an activist group tweeted this picture of Professor Chris Healy in 2017, right there in the middle with the hat, standing among white supremacist protesters. Now, he has taught computer science at Furman for more than 2 decades. White supremacists organized the rally in response to the city's plan to remove a Confederate statue. It turned violent, and a peaceful counter-protester was killed. The Furman professor says he was simply exercising his constitutional right to protest the statue's removal. Well, in the lawsuit filed yesterday, Healy accuses Furman of breach of contract, saying he hasn't been given a chance to defend himself. Now, he asked to be immediately allowed back on campus and requests a jury to hear the case. A spokesperson for Furman said they stand by their president's statement in September, which says in part, quote, "The views of the organizers of the Unite the Right rally do not reflect the values that I hold, and they are not the values that we have committed to in our vision, mission, and values statements." And you can read that full statement on foxcarolina.com from the university's president. Well, today, Healy's lawyer gave us his statement on the lawsuit just a little bit before the newscast here, saying in part, quote, "Professor Healy was shocked and dismayed by this sudden and an unjustified punishment to which he was subjected by Furman University, all without due process and in breach of his written contract of employment." Now, he went on to say that he has not perpetrated, nor has he even been accused of perpetrating any act of violence. Similarly, he has not made or even been accused of making violent statements, threats of violence, or statements inciting violence. Now, you can read Healy's full statement, again, on our website, foxcarolina.com.